Hello, everyone. In this segment, we will be talking about interiors that is required in any of the building structures. So let's see what this definition is got. The art and science of upgrading a building's interior to provide a healthier and more visually pleasant atmosphere for those using that area is known as an interior design. So, this in simple terms, so interior designing is nothing completely regarding what is the aesthetics of that particular building or what is the outer appearance of it. It's not just that. Apart from that, it's beyond it. It's not just an art, but it is a degree of science that is actually involved with respect to interior designing. So usually when we are thinking about all of these interior designing, the words like creativity and these flares or more colors, vibrant colors, all of these things will immediately prick our mind. It has sense of science that has been involved in it. So all these professional interior designing firms, so these people basically usually have a standard set of rules that will be followed. So based on what are the basic principles of an interior designing that has been there, and also the elements of the interior, and also the elements of the interior designing. So, based on all of these things, there are a few elements about the space, the color, the texture that has been used. So, I will be talking about every single element of interior designing in the upcoming slides. So, this is the whole idea of the interiors, how important it is for a building for it to uh, obtain interiors. When I'm talking about interiors over here, actually, it doesn't necessarily mean only for a residential building. It can also involve for commercial spaces. Or for commercial spaces like co-working spaces, or it can be a salon, or it can be a restaurant. What are the ambience that is required for that particular restaurant? All of these things will actually involve the what you call as the interiors that is required. So it is, don't precisely think that if it comes to interiors, any interior designing firm, that it is not really quoted only around the residential part, only for the houses, only for the personal use is not, it is called for interiors. So for all of these commercial usage spaces, everywhere interior designing will definitely play a vital role, and that is why the projects are taking up very fast these days. Maybe about within a time of 5 to 6 months, one whole project will be completed and it will be handover. Few, just in case if the size of the project is pretty much smaller in size, it can be completely done within 3 to 4 months, and they'll be moving forward with the next projects. So that is why interior designing completely it is on boom, and there are many project managers, project and site engineers who would be required for interior designing firms as well. So next, let's see what are the various steps that is involved in interior designing. So in this interior designing, we have got client interaction phase. So in this client interaction, what exactly happens is, firstly, you will have to definitely interact with a lot of your clients. What are their basic requirements that has been there? What are the pros and cons of the space? Because that is the space that they would have been chosen. So sometimes what happens, say for example, this particular client, they would have got sold for one of the flats that has been there, that is like a standard flat. So it is a, okay, say for example, it is a G plus 15 apartment, and all of the 15 apartments in the wing A or the block A, say for example, it is all uniform. So these particular clients wanted it to be having all these pastel or the pleasant colors. Maybe they want their balcony to be having with very soothing effect. So there might be another client in the same building who is opting for completely on a contrasting way. So it completely depends on what exactly the client may actually be wanting it. So you will have to understand what is the space utilization, how you can be completely making use of that particular space, and completely based on your previous projects, give them various quotations, various uh, quotes, various project ideas on what are the things that you will be doing. But if there are few clients who will be having of their own choices, so take all of those things into consideration, and that is where a complete client interaction will be taking place, and that is the very first stage. Then moving forward, we have for the design and the plan stage. In this design and plan stage, what basically happens is, yeah, now the clients have come and they are pretty much okay with the kind of plan or the execution or the interior plans that you have actually put it in forward with them. So now completely you will have to start designing what exactly how exactly you can make use of this space utilization. You have to come up with the space plans. It should be spacious enough, as well as all of these requirements also be quoted. That is where all of the requirements also should be fitted in. So that is where it actually comes into the picture. And then complete detailed layouts and all of these drawings. Um, Various layouts of that particular flat alone, having where which furniture will be coming up, which particular material, what kind of wardrobes they are looking forward, or if they want any showcase that should be there near the kitchen area for to keep their cutlery spaces. So all of these particular plannings also is to be made. So this requires a detailed layout planning, and based on that, definitely what are the materials that has been required can all be planned accordingly. Then comes to the comparison stage. The comparison stage, or I would like to call this as complete documentation or on papers where the work is actually going on. So here you will come up with various quotations with respect to the materials that has been required. There will be a comparison of the quotations that you would have quoted, and then there will be multiple work orders, because certain there will be woodwork in particular interior projects. Sometimes there will be a combination of wood and glass works that will be required. Few people will be very keen about having a wooden flooring, or few people will be very much interested in having a vitrified tiles, a normal vitrified tiles. Even when it comes to window, French opening window, few people might ask. Few people would prefer a standard normal opening window. So even when it comes to the doors, also it might be a single leaf door or it can be double leaf door. Based on all of these aspects, the work order also just keeps changing. So you'll have to be put a keen importance on what exactly the client is required, because all of these materials will again be costing up and down. So definitely you'll have to cross verify, not once, not twice, make it thrice. That would be better. And then finally you give them the proposal. Then finally all of the deliveries of all the materials that is to be required in the site, everything definitely just takes place. Then moving forward, there is the final stage where we are coming for the interiors. So this is going to have the complete work into the action, complete work into the picture. So over here, all of this particular work that has been planned, that has been sanctioned, that has been told yes from the client's end, the work will definitely be started. The accordingly, how many site engineers or the project managers who is required to look after that particular site. So say for example, now if it is a normal 2 BHK, then there will definitely be only one site engineer who will be looking forward. So here, what are the kinds of materials that is coming in, and what is the quote of work that is happening on a daily basis, because you will be having targets of about 3 to 4 months, because these are all small projects. The structure and all will be ready. So it is only the interior works that you will have to be doing, and these are the only things where this studio there are studio interior designing firms also, where they just design a small studio apartment meaning it is a compact space where it has one living room, kitchen, and a bathroom all compiled together, which is definitely like growing in the present day. So this is where, but they will want all of the interiors to be in an upgraded format. So that is where studio interior designing firms will come into the picture. And then moving forward, complete installations. It may be the light fixatures, or it can be the mirror installations, or it can be the kind of woodworks that they are actually required for. All of these things will be taken into the consideration, and complete installation should be made. So once all of this is done, the whole site has to be cleaned, and completely the whole project will be handed over to this particular client. So this is where the whole interior project will happen in four different stages, starting from the client interaction, where you will be planning the whole detailed layout, and then moving forward, you will be having a quotation towards them, taking a final approval from the client, and then definitely the execution and the handover. These are the four main stages that happens in interior designing firm. So next we'll have a look at what is the elements that is interior designing. There are seven main elements. So these are like basics in any kind of interior project, whether it is a residential project. Again, even in residential, it depends. If it is duplex house, it is comparatively different because you'll have to design the staircase. Few clients will be very keen on what are the kind of material of that staircase that they would want it, and sometimes it may be a normal 2 bhk or a 3 bhk, but they would want it in a very simpler way. And sometimes you will have to do an interior designing for villa projects also. This is only with respect to residential, but keeping all of these things aside, designing a whole co-working space, or designing a whole salon, designing a whole restaurant, especially if those restaurants have particular themes, or there will be certain standards where you will be working out on the interiors. Now, say for example, Cafe Coffee Day or McDonald's or KFC, they will have standard interiors. They will have the regular furnitures, that particular themed furnitures only, which they will have to keep it installed or been designed accordingly in order to retain their own brand. So you'll have to consider all of these things before uh, executing the project and handing over it to them. So in any of these projects you take, interior designing actually has been working in many verticals. So in all of these, one common thing that you're seeing is this elements of the interior design. So these seven elements are very much common in any of the interior project that you will be handling it. Very first one is the space. So completely you will be utilizing the particular space. This is one of the challenging elements because sometimes there will be constraint with respect to space. You might have just like for about 900 square meter of floor plan. So based on that, having all of the interiors fit out and having a sufficient amount of space for people to walk in and around. So within those physical boundaries only, you will have to consider how this project can be executed and handed over. So space is one of the major elements. So coming to the second element, we are moving for lines. So horizontal, vertical, and dynamic lines help for the shaping of a room. So all of the furnitures, now say for example, it is a 2 BHK house. In the master bedroom, you will have to have an L shape where you can you will be having these leg space to walk. So definitely where you're going to align all of the all of the interiors matters. If the bed should be at the corner, and definitely the study table or the wardrobe, what exactly the client's requirement is, that will have to be in line, whether it is a horizontal, whether it is a vertical, or it can be a dynamic line as well. That's what it means by lining, which is one of the second most important elements. Then coming to lighting, whether it is a natural lighting, whether it is a man-made lighting or the artificial lighting, different kinds of light fixtures that has been used. You have to make sure this lighting is placed in such a area that the whole space is completely filled with the source of light, irrespective of natural or the man-made lights that has been used. So the complete space should be completely occupied by light and should be bright enough so that there shouldn't be any uh, disturbance that is to be happening in the space that has been used. Then coming to one of the major important elements, that is color. So color, definitely it is a sign all on its own, and another extremely important element amongst the interior design. So now, with respect to color, psychologically, so it has been proven that so colors definitely change the mind of a human brain. So, say for example, if it is a blue color that you will usually be visualizing, your mind tends to stay calm, and if it is yellow color, you would tend to concentrate a little more. So now, say for example, a small house, a small family house is actually a small family is moving into one 2 BHK house. They have one kid, a husband, wife, and a kid. So now they want that kid. It is in a growing stage. It is going for school, so maybe concentration in all of these things it would be required. It will be adding on for the study of that particular kid. That's why they would want a yellow colored theme room. So having a yellow, completely yellow room doesn't really look good aesthetically. It will be like very bright. So based on that, which particular area usually the particular kid actually faces and studies, there you can actually start designing with this particular color. That is where color definitely matters a lot with respect to the interior designing paint as well as the exterior designing. Then coming to patterns. So patterns are completely, it is like in hand with color. So there might be a contrasting combination that is required, or there might be a faded shades of combination that might be playing inside a interior. It is completely of the choice of the client, definitely. On based on your suggestion, just in case if the sunlight or the natural light, the source of natural light for that particular space that they have owned, if it is comparatively less, then suggest them for brighter colors. So if you go with white color, say for example for the walls, so how much ever source of natural light has been absorbed by that particular space will tend to push brightly for the remaining other spaces also. So that with particular patterns, in which direction is that particular natural light has been actually going inside. So that way you can have specific patterns on the interiors that you're actually planning for. Then moving forward for the forms. So form is the shape of the room as well as the objects within the room. Forms are nothing but forms and lines, like I mentioned. These are the various fixatures, the various furnitures that will be placed inside the room or inside the space that you have been using. So all of these things should be placed intact in specific regions where it shouldn't really disturb the movement of the other ones. Or when you're like walking by, it shouldn't be in such a way that the opening of the door cupboard should be in this way, and if you're walking in the opposite direction, definitely it distracts or it disturbs. It will be an obstacle for the walk-through person there. So that way, the space utilization and that form where all of these fixatures and the furniture should be put up in line. That comes under form. And finally, we have this last animal, that is the last element, that is the texture. So texture basically refers to all of these tactical surfaces on the object, or it is in the finished state. So textures are completely now we can start taking from one of the furniture also. So if on a dining table, if they wanted a teak wood kind of texture, or if they wanted a rosewood kind of texture, or even if they are looking forward for a wooden flooring, what kind of texture that has been used there, all of these things also should be considered, and these are the main elements in any of the interior designing firm that you're taking forward. Now, for example, like I told, if it is a McDonald's or KFC, they have their own standard brand colors. About KFC has like red and white themed, McDonald's have red and yellow themed. So the furnitures inside them, or having the menu sheet there with the order tables, all of these things, they have a physical certain set of standard materials that has been used. So all these things has to be followed irrespective of what kind of project one is actually dealing with. This is where interiors actually come into the picture. So now, by now, we have come to the end of what are the sequence of activities that will be taking place in residential buildings. So in residential or in commercial buildings, basically. So by now, definitely you'll be having an idea about what exactly the substructure was, what was the superstructure, and then coming to what is the bar bending scheduling. After that, how is the concrete procedures that has actually been acted, and finally, how the whole finishes of this project that you have taken care, and how it will be handed over. You have completely had a idea by now, is what I'm believing. So, in the next section, completely, we will be talking in detail about infrastructure. So, again, like I mentioned previously, in infrastructure, not in detail about every single type substructure of an infrastructure we can teach. So, we are taking forward the metro construction. So, in detail, what are the various sequence of activities that we will be having in metro construction? We can definitely have a look at that. So till then, hope to see you for the next session. Thank you so much.